Today I messed up by getting in a baby's face and loudly crying because he rage baited me. TLDR, when pressing my little brother for hitting me all day, he fake cried. I said I ain't new to this, I can cry too. I squatted to his eye level and did the most obnoxious cry I could do. Now grandma thinks I'm a POS. 17M, I am not a mature person. For months my little brother, 5M, has been essentially rage baiting me, chucking shoes at my head with amazing accuracy. Seriously, he should be in sports, not in timeout, but that's beside the point. He will run into my room if I leave it unlocked and try to break my stuff. Last week my doorknob. Anything to get attention. Even going as far as to force himself to throw up and tell up to clean it. Locking me outside when I'm cleaning the garage. No punishment works because he finds it fun. I used to be a horrid kid in my childhood, but chilled out in my preteens. So I got good at predicting his moves when he's pissed. I just imagine him as a past me. He already broke a TV, his tablet several times, my sister's laptop, my mom's screen, my Switch's Joy-Con, so I'm prepared now. I tried the gentle parenting method, but after a while my patience is running thin. While my grandmother, who's our temporary guardian, claimed she couldn't hear or see him chucking shoes at me and him yelling, "I hate you," even though she was right next to me. She barely punished him. So I chased him up the stairs. He started crying and calling for grandma. So when I backed off out of guilt, he would stop crying immediately, then keep it up again. So like the responsible older brother, I backed him into the same corner and told him to knock it off. He started fake crying. Then I was so mad, any sense of reason left my body. I said I ain't new to this, I can cry too. I squatted to his eye level and did the most obnoxious cry I could do. I did the classic big inhale cry, then beautifully transitioned it into the classic wah before I broke character and started laughing. We deadass started harmonizing. He started crawling backwards, and I was walking towards him while we were both crying at each other. He was mad and freaked out to snitch on me to our grandmother, but I swear I saw him crack a smile. I remember crying so much as a kid that I knew how to do it in a way to annoy people the most. Long note. Then random scream at random intervals like wah. It's better than straight up screaming, so your ears can't fully adjust. When she came to confront my brother, comfort, I whispered crocodile tears. My grandmother said I'm almost 18 and I'm being in butthole to a baby who apparently looks up to me. Whenever he does something to me, she doesn't care unless it affects her, but the second I retaliate, he immediately notices. She has a short fuse with me now, but I was ready to burn that bridge anyway. I had the same thing happen with my sister, 18F, growing up when we argued. I told my sister what I did, and she started laughing when I told her. Thank God I'm getting a dorm. Was I acting like an ass? Today I messed up by doing an impression of a certain singer. So I met this girl from work. We are not in a relationship nor officially dating, but we always grab dinner together after work. Sometimes with our other colleagues, but usually just the two of us. I like her, but I don't want to rush things. Earlier tonight, I was driving her home, and we were playing music in my car. Suddenly a Joji song played, and she got excited and said, "Oh wow, I didn't know you listened to Joji." I just said, "Yeah, I vibe with him." She followed up with, "Did you know he used to be Filthy Frank?" I was trying to stop the autist in me, so I just replied, "Oh yeah." She said, "Yes, I used to watch him back in high school." I couldn't stop myself, so I did a pink guy face. The one I did was the pink guy thumbs up. She said, "What are you doing?" And for some freaking reason I decided to double down by saying EYB0SS while still doing the face. I also said, "Hamburger please," because I thought that will help her remember the memes. She looked freaking disgusted. It became quiet, and before I knew it, we arrived at her house. She opened the car door and said, "Bye, thanks for the ride," without even looking at me. She hasn't texted me back till now. Am I cooked? What does she mean she used to watch Filthy Frank if she doesn't even get the reference? Today I messed up by stealing my neighbor's cat. Obligatory, this happened a couple days ago, but basically my wife and I started renting a new apartment in January. The previous tenant had been kicked out due to not paying rent for 6 months, so when we first got to see the place, there was still a bunch of the guy's furniture and stuff there. He had done a runner. Over the last few months, a cat has almost constantly been on our balcony, super friendly and always wanting attention. We have 2 young cats of our own though, and they don't get along with it, constantly fighting through closed windows. And it has also been shitting in our pot plants, so it was getting kinda annoying. We started to suspect that perhaps it belonged to the previous tenant, as it was always outside on the balcony regardless of weather, with no visible spot for it to go to the bathroom or have cover on our neighbor's side. For more context, we are third story with a kinda wraparound balcony that is shared with the neighbor, who we rarely ever see at home. Only a small dividing fence that the cat has no issues just walking around. It cannot access any other levels though. We felt pretty bad for this cat as it had a slight limp and really went for food or water when we put it out. Anyway, a few days ago I spontaneously thought stuff it and took it to the vet, conveniently right next to our building, just so we could know if it was the previous tenant or not. If it was, we would take it to a shelter so it can have a proper home. Otherwise, I was just going to quietly put it back on the balcony and assume the neighbors must be feeding it and just a bit neglectful. My wife has bad anxiety, so I didn't want to make any issues of it. Hence why I didn't want to go over and ask, just in case it was theirs. I got to the vet, briefly explained the situation, and the lady took the cat into a back room to check its details. About 5 minutes later, she came out and said, "Yep, I've called and confirmed it's your neighbor's cat. They are coming down to collect it now." Well, I shat myself. I asked her not to say it was me that brought the cat and asked if I could leave the cat carrier there and run home. She was cool with it, but on my way up to my apartment, I ran into my neighbor on the stairs and could not make eye contact. Too big of a coincidence for her to know it wasn't me. There is no way the cat could have got to ground level or be found by anyone else. We haven't seen the cat since. My wife is anxious as F and convinced the neighbors have been giving her dirty looks when she's seen them on the street. FML. Update. I've since gone over to the neighbors last night and gave an awkward confession and apology. Turns out they are really nice and were actually grateful as they had been unable to catch it and bring it inside. They were very understanding and we were able to laugh at how awkward and embarrassing I felt about it.